Class is in session, motherfuckers. I hope you're taking notes. And now that I've given many of you some frightful flashbacks to your college and high school years, greetings and felicitations, assorted children of the internet. I am the Logician, and welcome to one of a number of streaming days that I am hoping to essentially solidify into specific themes. Yesterday was what I affectionately refer to as Toku Tuesdays, or as I might change it later, Time Capsule Tuesdays, wherein I react to, if not a movie, then some sort of television show from years gone by. Generally speaking, I've been going with Saban's Masked Rider, so I've been thinking of predominantly sticking to Americanized tokusatsu series for the time being anyway, although there's no guarantee that's going to be the case permanently. In fact, I might just switch it up every now and then to retro movies, old tokusatsu shows, a number of things here and there. Reacting to old black and white cartoons? I mean, yeah, essentially, that is the plan. I might even throw up. Well, I mean, given how some of these shows and movies tend to progress, that's probably not too far off. But yeah, I might throw on the OG, essentially giant robot anime, Gigantor, at some point, depending on the legality involved in that, but, an issue for another time. Today, for, what I like to refer to presently as either On a Whim Wednesday or whatever Wednesday, I figured I'd dip back into my educational roots and give a bit of a brief presentation. A two-part presentation, that is, dipping our collective toes into two of my personal favorite academic topics, multiple intelligences and the faults with objective morality. Now, even to just get us started... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I need to remember I'm on the right layer when I do that. My word. We're off to a rollicking good start already. But yes, even getting started with the former, let's take a brief moment to talk about the theory of multiple intelligences, which was first pitched by Howard Gardner in his book Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences, big shocker, from 1983. Essentially, this was his way of explaining that the very idea that there is only one form of intelligence, and therefore only one way to apply it, or garner anything from the learning process, is complete and utter horseshit. And thus he proposed his own model, including 8 specific modules of intelligence, or categorical, I should say. We have the classic logical mathematical intelligence, we have naturalistic intelligence, we have interpersonal intelligence, visual spatial intelligence, musical intelligence, body kinesthetic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence. Wait, didn't I? Intrapersonal is what I said before. Intrapersonal and interpersonal. It's two very different things. And verbal linguistic intelligence. Basically, we're very good with our bodies, with people, ourselves, logic and math, nature, our vocabulary, imagery. Just there are many different categories through which we can define intelligences, according to Gardner. Now, this theory has, of course, prompted a bit of criticism from people who are far more fond of the traditional, I suppose, definition of intelligence, which is to say, there's only one way to learn something, and thus there's only one way to apply something in that regard. But in my personal, unbiased opinion, I say, heavily lifting an eyebrow, given just the breadth of differences in the varied interests and passions of humanity, to suggest that there is only one type of intelligence seems, to me at least, extremely absurd, and that is me putting it politely. And to help demonstrate this, I thought I would give a brief presentation on the application of multiple intelligence theory in a school setting. Now, this is on YouTube. You can all watch this. I don't think this is copyrighted by any means, because I'm relatively certain, and I looked it up, the academic website that first brought this up no longer uses it, and you can find multiple copies of this video on YouTube. So if you are ever curious about this video, you can look it up yourself, but suffice it to say, this is basically going to show us just how the theory of multiple intelligences can be applied in a classroom setting, because, again, if you alienate kids by telling them there's only one given way you can learn about things, it's going to perturb them to the point of not wanting to learn anything, which I'm sure many of us have dealt with in terms of academically focused frustration. When we get to run people over the train, that comes later, Cochet, I promise. But in the interim,
we're going to use our bodies while we sing. We're going to do 2 smarts at one time.
Big, big dreams, lots of big dreams.
At Enoda Multiple Intelligences Academy in Gainesville, Georgia, the question is not how smart are you? The question is, how are you smart?
I'm word smart because I love to read and I love to write.
I am mostly visual smart.
I'm body smart because I like sports and to dance.
Nature smart and people smart.
Because if it was only one smart school, at least if I didn't know something, it wouldn't make me feel like a total idiot.
I mean, the kid said it the best. He said it best himself. Like, once again, this is driving home the point that when you relate an academic subject to a passion or interest of a child, it's going to be a lot easier for that information to digest and process. And with the multiple intelligences theory, they are finding all new ways to pass on vital lessons to these children through their preferred and honestly the most naturally occurring means of taking in information, as they will demonstrate.
Enoda Elementary is one of a handful of schools in America with curriculum based on the theory of multiple intelligences. The theory suggests that there are 8 different ways in which humans learn. It was developed by Dr. Howard Gardner.
Now, I'll even comment, like, at this point, that as you know, even as comparatively innovative as this is, I feel like even these 8 categories might be somewhat limiting. I feel like this could do with some room to grow, honestly, with subcategories therein. But honestly, just having these 8 brackets here for different means of defining intelligence is a big, big step forward. At least compared to what most of us would find in most public educational, I guess, institutions.
If we all had exactly the same kind of mind and there was only one kind of intelligence, then we could teach everybody the same thing in the same way and assess them in the same way, and that would be fair. But once we realize that people have very different kinds of minds, different kinds of strengths, some people are good in thinking spatially, some people are good in thinking in language, other people are very logical, other people need to do hands-on, they need to actually explore actively and to try things out. Once we realize that, then education which treats everybody the same way is actually the most unfair education.
Which continent did you choose?
In Amy Anderson's first grade class, students work at various stations that utilize different smarts.
My job is never boring. It's always exciting to see what the children are going to bring to the lesson because I'm allowing them to put their whole selves into it.
And this is another important point that I want to drive home. Individualized lesson plans based on each individual child. This is something that is becoming more of a standard with a lot of educational facilities and institutions these days, but you have to understand, it is by no means a widespread standard, even today, in 2025. Like, it is very much the same syllabus with the same lesson plan for entire groups of kids who see and feel the world in completely different ways.
I try to give children an opportunity to practice all their smarts because they're still learning about themselves and still deciding what it is that they feel best about.
South America, in my hands
I have a group in the hall, and
Anyone who has ever watched Animaniacs will tell you that this works. Anyone who remembers the countries and state songs from Animaniacs knows this method is effective. This is just a scientific demonstration of that outside the context of the cartoon. Just the other day, I was watching a highlight from Pumpkin Potion, another VTuber, where she fully confessed, or professed, I suppose, to having aced a geography test specifically because she watched that segment from Animaniacs as a child. This is just adding more evidence to that assertion.
They are using their Music Smart so that they can practice naming continents and oceans and their locations in the world.
Whole world in my hands. This is a flip book, and then we put the cities and the states.
Then they're using the work that's already been done in the hall and transferring that to a flip book that they can illustrate using their Picture Smart. Another group is working on math.
I remember reading something about modern schooling being developed mostly to train children for factory jobs and not to actually help anyone learn anything. No, that's precisely it, Koshe. It is a lot of workforce prep, honestly. It is very much a glorified conveyor belt with a lot of public school systems. So, because of that, they're going to have a very strict and standardized method of trying to convey information to these children. And anyone who falls to the wayside in terms of that streamlined, quote-unquote, system is going to be left behind and labeled as faulty or defective. Even more so now that, yeah, no, absolutely. It is horrific, the methods by which the American education system, specifically the public American education system, is continuing to do this. And while this is a proven effective method of teaching children, it is not by any stretch of the imagination common. I mean, it's being picked up by more schools here and there, but it is still not a common practice to implement lesson plans based on the theory of multiple intelligences. And the evidence is there. And that pisses me the fuck off. But once again, I will let the staff speak for themselves on this.
Math facts using dominoes so that they can use their Picture Smart and their Logic Smart. And then I have a third group that's using their Body Smart to throw the checkers at the target and then record their number using their Logic Smart on the board.
Evidence is there, funding is not. Yeah, especially in fucking California. Good fucking lord.
A one.
So we try to allow children to shine in the things that they truly feel good about. And if we find that thing that they feel most confident doing, then we can use that to help them achieve other milestones.
The Georgia Performance Standards are state mandate standards that students have to master before being promoted to the next grade level. Multiple intelligences allows teachers to teach those standards in a variety of ways so that students can actually understand them, and the way that a teacher can grade that is not necessarily by a letter grade, but more so with a rubric that really goes into detail about what that child has mastered.
And that's a very specific point there. There's a very crucial piece of information that she included there. That even with these multiple avenues by which they teach these children these lessons, they are still learning them and practicing them within these standardized testing formats. It is proving yet again that even if it is outside the realm of what the American education system is used to, it is still effective by the standards mandated by standardized testing. I'm sorry, I am very much tripping over my word. This is something I am very passionate about. Children are incredibly intelligent. There is so much fucking potential with children, with what they can learn and what they can, practice. Having worked with children professionally for a number of years as a behavioral therapist, it pisses me the fuck off whenever I see brilliant children who are just deprived of the resources they need to thrive and excel in all these areas where they are very much passionate. And so seeing institutions like this, where they are implementing the theory of multiple intelligences and making it a lot easier for children from all backgrounds, whether they deal with developmental disabilities or ADHD or what have you. Like, what any background, any degree of neurodiversity, any language barriers, any interests, they can absolutely thrive if you give them the opportunity. I have massive respect for Sesame Street during its first 30 seasons, and I sure had faith in their child audience, and yeah, no, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Remember, you're just working it through, confirming your answers at the end.
Pre- and post-tests given every 9 weeks help teachers plan each child's individual learning strategy.
Everything is individualized for a particular student because, as we all know, students learn at various paces. And so the pre- and post-test allows us to get a great feel of what the students have mastered and what they haven't mastered.
Take, for example, the episode Mr. Hooper Passing. They aired that on Thanksgiving so that families could be there to explain. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, when you have, even in children's entertainment, educational children's entertainment, when they take into account things like the concept of death and how that impacts families, and try and deliver that in ways where it is easier for families to explain these things, I mean, that just goes so many light years ahead of what, the layers of difficulty that would be involved in explaining that otherwise. Just little extra steps here and there is all it needs. It can make a world of difference, a literal world of difference for millions of children.
What were those called? It was a figurative language. Do you remember which one? Similes. Good, Dusty.
I look at the diversity in this population. We have non-English speaking students, non-English speaking parents, economically disadvantaged students. We have country club students. The test scores are better than any place I've seen in the state. We shouldn't look like this on paper. But you walk in a classroom, you see the quality of instruction, and you see the multiple intelligences respected. You start understanding this is why we look good on paper.
To expand on the SMARTS concept and make Enota a fun place to be, parents and staff turned the school into Smartville.
This is another crucial point to this video. I know this is a little outside the boundaries of what I normally stream, but this is another crucial point I want to drive home. Practical application of acquired information. They have set up an environment here where these kids not only have an easier time taking in all this information because it's presented to them through mediums that are far more understandable for them given their individual interests and strengths, they give them an environment where they can apply it to real-life situations, like a simulated post office or a simulated park. As a neurodivergent person, I believe in the potential of every individual no matter what. No, absolutely, Nicholas. I completely agree. As a neurodivergent person myself, who has a master's in behavioral neuroscience, I see instances where other people who are either on the spectrum or are dealing with other developmental issues or just dealing with trauma or any number of things that are potentially making things difficult for them to take in information like this and utilize it. And then I see things like this, and I'm like, these people fucking understand. These people are actually paying attention to the needs and strengths of these children, and not seeing them as limitations, but seeing them as new avenues through which they can present this information for other people who are similarly inclined.
A place where students get to see how their smarts might play out in adult roles.
We thought, wouldn't a little city be a neat way for kids to just really excel and use their smarts and strengthen the smarts that maybe they're struggling with? And so that, I think, was the first birth of Smartville.
We do have artistic art.
Smartville has hallways with street names, a central park, a culinary academy.
You're studying fractions and math, right? All right, we're going to work on our math smarts.
A Metropolitan Museum of Smart, a Savings and Learn.
We have pins, and when you write with them, it will change a color.
A popular store.
Which is the one we had to return to a sender.
And a very busy post office.
You can kind of act like you're an adult, and I think that's really cool, and I feel like I have responsibilities.
This is very crucial. That statement right there. That testimony. This is a child who has had information presented to them in a way where it's easily digestible and has been given the opportunity to put that into practice in a supportive environment where even if they slip up, they can try again and learn more. And they are excited by the prospect of having these responsibilities, not only for this community, but even potentially once they graduate from school and seek out their preferred career path. This is how you instill passion and interest in real-world responsibilities in a way that doesn't make kids feel fucking guilt-tripped. I've seen so many instances of children who are just fraught with existential dread at the thought of having to be an adult and have those responsibilities. When you present the idea of doing that in an environment like this, it saves them fucking years that are lost to stress. Because stress does literally age you. Not just passion and interest, but initiative and drive to continue learning, especially a want to learn. No, abso-fucking-lutely, Nicholas. Continuing education is a crucial part of any career. This is why doctors continue to attend seminars with every new medical breakthrough. Like, we only understand so much about the human body, even after, essentially thousands of years of medical study. We are constantly learning new things as technology and our understanding of ourselves and our environment advances. And whenever I see someone who says, no, I have my degree, I understand everything, I don't need to continue my education or learn new things, that is how you get things like dead languages. A language that does not evolve because it does not take into account changes in a social environment becomes useless, obsolete. Latin is a dead language because it is not developed over time. English is a thriving, living language because even if it sounds dumb as shit, as much of a dumpster fire as it is still thriving. It has a pulse. Because it is taking into account all these societal changes that happen along the way and accommodating for those changes. The same goes for education.
They're excited about learning each day, and they're excited about showing what they know. Not just making a grade on a test, but actually saying, I can do this. Watch me.
At the annual Multiple Intelligences Fair, Enota's kids get to strut their stuff for parents and the community.
The fair not only displays the talents that children have or a final product, but it also brings out their multiple intelligences. They're smarts. They want to show us how smart they are. And so they showcase that during the MI Fair.
The name of my poem is The Hall Monitor and Me. I wrote this by myself.
Once you begin to think in the multiple intelligences way, it becomes second nature. And once you've seen the benefits, it's worth the little bit of extra work.
3 + 6
Okay, so I know that was a bit of a drag. It was me being fairly serious for an extended period of time, but there is a point to it. That point being, where we are currently at right now, Jesus fucking Christ. Today, in 2025, we have every reason to believe, because we're constantly being told it by people in positions of power and influence, that what we are good at isn't good enough. We are constantly being told and gaslit into believing that because our skills are not equitable to those in similar lines of work or involved in similar passions, that we aren't going to make a cut. Imposter syndrome is on the rise, and we are all susceptible to it. The point of me bringing up the theory of multiple intelligences is to assure you that that sentiment is horseshit. There is no such thing as unskilled labor, And you don't have to be as far developed as your peers in any given field when you are just starting out. Even if you have admiration for your peers when it comes to any given skill, such as, I don't know, drawing backgrounds or, God forbid, hands. Even if you struggle with those things, that does not make your accomplishments or skill set any less valuable. Is it a perfect one-to-one comparison with the theory of multiple intelligences? Maybe not so much, but my point being, you have merit, you have value, you take in information in a uniquely you way, and you implement it in a uniquely you way. There's the potential for every single person on this fucking planet to excel, despite what some people may lead you to believe. I didn't necessarily mean this to be a motivational speech, but ultimately the point of this presentation is to let you know that even if you feel stupid, you are not fucking stupid. I hate to dip into Forrest Gump territory here, but stupid is very much as stupid does. So long as you are actually trying, applying what you have learned, and trying to learn more, you're not fucking stupid. This is so beautiful, can we kill people now? Always the one for priorities, weren't you, Koshe? Schooled the shit out of you and I want more. I do want to try and make these types of streams a more common occurrence, or at least these sections to streams. Like, I will be completely honest with you. One of the big reasons I wanted to start streaming in the first place was to aid in educational talks like this. Just to have moments where I could sit down with people, talk about a specific subject that I am passionate about, whether it's relating to neuroscience, education, history, philosophy, other schools of psychology, critical media analysis, and just give my 2 cents and give people a chance to take in the information and take away from it what they will. Which leads me to, I suppose, the next and debatably major part of tonight's stream. One which Koshe has been alluding to this entire time. God damn it, I need to keep remembering what layer I am on. Fucking A. Let me just scooch things over here. Scooting OBS. Alright. Now that we have had our talk on the theory of multiple intelligences, we're going to be talking about the failings of objective morality. And to demonstrate that, I figured now would be as good a time as any to play Trolley Problem Inc. Now, even to just briefly touch on what I mean by all of this, objective morality basically posits that there is an inherently good or evil decision, or good or evil alignment to everyone and everything. Basically, something is always inherently good or inherently evil. Very black and white. I am of the opinion that objective morality is absolute horseshit, and that everything is nuanced. Obviously, there are decisions that can be made that are very much in the interests of individual people, and that don't really take into consideration the value of human life. And yes, I would call these types of things evil. But there's no such thing as someone or something objectively evil or good. There is nuance to everything. Obviously, I feel that it's going to depend on context. It's going to depend on the sum of a person's actions. If a person does enough shitty things, that person is going to be shitty. That's my takeaway. But there is no universally applicable metric for evil or good. The best demonstration of this is the trolley problem. Now, the trolley problem, for those of you unfamiliar, basically goes as such. You have a trolley or train, that is barreling down a track. One person is tied to the track. There is a lever that you can pull to divert the train. However, if you do divert the train, it will kill 5 people. I think I presented the information in the wrong order. Basically, 5 people tied to a train track. You can divert the train, but it'll kill 1 person instead of 5. Now, the question then becomes, is it morally right to simply let nature take its course, to become uninvolved and observe what happens? Or is it morally correct to pull the lever, save 5 lives, and kill 1 person instead? Fucking really, Koshe? Also, hello, Alex. For those of you watching at home, because I'm not sure if that translated to the chat, Koshe timed out Alex for 5 seconds for saying, "What if someone likes Nickelback?" Sometimes I question the decision of making you a mod, Koshe. This isn't necessarily one of those times. I'm just saying, choices were made. Yeah, I think we're gonna go solo today. Also, do let me know how the audio is sounding. Are things too loud so far? Is the volume a little quiet for you?
The following game contains adult themes. It does not contain explicit language, sexual content, horror, or show violence. Choices matter, so please take your time. Player discretion is still advised. Please sign your name below, showing you understand and agree to endorse every decision you make. Actions speak louder than words.
Generally, yes.
Welcome to Trolley Problem Inc., founded to help people travel safely across the nation. All our employees must show 3 core values: responsibility, integrity, and respect. With that in mind, let's start your training.
Alright, so once again, the audio is sounding pretty good on your guys' end. Now, I've wanted to play this game on stream for a number of reasons. Key among them being, I figured it was a good way to implement educational themes into my streams. The other being that there is a streamer mode to this game, which lets the chat weigh in on decisions. I am going to start by choosing these options on my own. After I played through the game, depending on how long it takes, I am tempted to run through the game again by giving you guys the reins and letting you make the choices. Multi-track drifting. I mean, who knows?
There's a runaway trolley barreling down the railway tracks. On the tracks are 5 people unable to move. You're next to a lever. If you pull this lever, the trolley will switch to a different set of tracks. However, you notice there is a person on the other track. What do you do? Oh. So you're just going to do nothing? Ah, I guess you're right. The more people who die, the better. Usually we don't expect candidates to kill someone on their first day, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt on this one. Just think a little more before acting next time.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely leaning into the Stanley Parable school of snark when it comes to game commentary. Just killed Einstein? I mean, he's used to it by now. But yes, this is definitely going to be one of those games that's going to more than likely make me question my own morality. Because again, morality is gray. There's no perfect black or white solution to something like this. It gives you two options. There's going to be repercussions going either way. This game is the perfect demonstration of why anyone who believes solely in objective morality doesn't really understand moral nuance.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This test will focus on the first principle, responsibility. Here's Polly. She's 5 years old. While she loves to play in the sand with her dolls, she dreams of looking after the world. Polly's destiny is to grow up to be a great doctor. More of us should take a leaf out of her book.
I think I know where this is going. Also, I will probably be spending some time explaining my decision after each one. I mean, in the last one, it was very much like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Fairly simplistic, but that was my decision there.
A trolley is heading towards another 5 people. You're next to a lever. If you pull this lever, the trolley will derail and descend down a hill heading for the park's sandpit. You notice that Polly is in the sandpit, sculpting her dream hospital. What do you do?
See, this is where it gives you that trap of getting to know the individual person.
As cute as Polly. I wonder if any of the 5 are children, or maybe all of them.
The fact that they threw in an Xbox achievement.
That is an odd take on being responsible. The dictionary definition, to be the primary cause of something and so able to be blamed or credited for it. Are you to blame for the death of a young girl?
Once again, I had to go with my gut on the needs of the many. The fact that they very much tried to sway me with the additional info of getting to know the individual as opposed to the 5. Is that kid really going to grow up to be that great a doctor? Well, I mean, if she were that great, she would have gotten out of this situation, wouldn't she?
The end justifies the means.
I mean, to quote one of our greatest thinkers, fuck them kids.
Integrity. This is Tyrone. He is a 30-year-old secretary at a law firm who enjoys binge-watching crime shows. Tyrone is a very large man. You don't really know anything else about him, apart from the fact that he has a severe phobia of trains.
I'm not entirely certain I like where this is going.
Now we are upping the ante. You are on a bridge with Tyrone, watching a trolley speeding towards 5 people again. You can only stop it by deliberately pushing Tyrone off the bridge, blocking its path. Do you push Tyrone off the bridge? Or let the train hit 5 people? 821 million people are starving in the world. Well, Tyrone will thank you. He's planning to binge watch a lot this week. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've just seen an ambulance arrive. I believe Tyrone has just had a heart attack due to the stress of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they are absolutely leaning into the Stanley Parable angle. Alright, so to explain my take on this. In the previous 2 examples, I was presented with the option to pull a lever. The lever would derail the train, providing a mechanical solution that was already in place. to save a number of lives. In this case, I was standing right next to someone. Someone who I can tell from the information given is very concerned with trains in general. I feel like it is one thing to be at the scene of a catastrophe and have the ability to do something. When I am that far away simply watching, and my only option is to stand by and pray someone else is able to do something, or take a human being who is actively next to me and sacrifice their life, that dips a bit away from manslaughter to direct murder. At least in my opinion. The difference is the systems put into effect in the circumstances. Pulling a lever to redirect away from 5 people and killing 1 person, that feels more like manslaughter. Deliberately pushing a person in the way, that's murder. This stream's gonna get weird, folks.
A cat has 9 lives. Now for the final core value, respect. It seems we've run out of resources to continue your testing. I'm going to need you to go and grab some mannequins. You will need to take the next trolley, so don't get distracted by that dog. The trolley leaves in 1 minute.
Also, the assumption that just because Tyrone is fat, he could stop the fucking train like fat. Yeah, no, like, that was what bothered me. The fucking fat phobia at play there. Was not a fan.
There is a dying dog down on the tracks. No trolleys will use that line today, so the dog will not be hit. You're in a rush. Do you kill the dog, putting it out of its misery, or leave it to die, cold and alone? Let nature take its course. Don't listen to the yelps.
I mean, once again, lesser of 2 evils.
I couldn't leave it there, to die alone. When you respect something, you're meant to care about its feelings and wishes. Instead, you just left it there to die.
I mean, anyone who's watched Futurama knows where I'm coming from. This is a creature that has come to terms with its own passing. And it's not really my right to try and make that decision for it.
If you play with fire, you'll get burned. Oh, great. I've just heard those kids are back. They keep sneaking down onto the tracks. With all the training from this week, you should be able to decide a straightforward outcome for these reprobates.
Alright.
5 trespassers have snuck down onto the trolley line even though signs warn them of the dangers. The trolley is currently heading for a co-worker. Do you let your co-worker die or sacrifice the delinquents?
I mean, I hate to say it, occupational hazard.
If the trespassers weren't there, you would change the path, right? I guess you value criminals over co-workers then. Noted.
Yeah, this is a game that's going to try and make you feel like shit regardless.
You killed a co-worker. All right then, I guess your results for the first week are in. I'll run these up the flagpole and see what the suits upstairs think.
I mean, technically the train did that. Was my coworker just chilling on the trolley line when the work is company? Yeah, no, exactly. The company picnic was taking place over, like, on that patch of grass, Tim.
Dear Sir or Madam, We have been following your exemplar
anyone in
practice
between.
this week at Trolly Problem Inc. and would like to thank you for your hard work, especially when some challenging decisions had to be made. We would like to invite you to take employment at the Trolly Health Corporation, THC. This is a prestigious position and was created to help keep the public safe through all walks of life.
Yeah, something tells me we're going to be upping the ante with the scenarios here.
The best laid plans go astray. It looks like you've impressed someone upstairs with last week's answers. You've been transferred to the Trolly Health Corporation, THC. THC is stoic, focusing more on justice, temperance, courage, and wisdom. We'll start with justice.
I mean, this is even dipping a bit into what I was talking about before, having worked in, technically, healthcare for a good number of years.
Today, you'll be in A&E. A young male has come in from a car accident and urgently needs a heart transplant. There's only one in the hospital, and this heart is scheduled to be given to an elderly man waiting upstairs. He will surely die without it. Who should get the heart?
I mean, unfortunately...
In a year or two, we can probably get the heart back off this old boy.
The old man had dibs, unfortunately.
This guy is really old. It'll be an awful waste of a heart if he doesn't even survive the operation. You made an excellent choice. Well done. The young guy has so much to look forward to. Oh, wait. Did you save the old man? Oh.
So, once again, this is a matter of... I mean, I hate to say it, but first come, first serve. The old man, and presumably his family, were promised that heart before the young man came in. Regardless of whether or not I feel it's worth giving it to someone who's going to live longer, that was promised to the old man. It's like saying, hey, well, obviously on a grander scale, but someone was promised a sandwich in the fridge. Their name is on that sandwich in the fridge. Does it make it okay for the new guy to come in and eat that sandwich despite there being an already established coworker's name on that sandwich? No, I don't think so. Now the old man can run for Congress and prevent... Oh, God. You're leaning into this too, huh, Alex? Thanks.
You can't win them all.
No, apparently not.
You're late. The hospital is rammed. Every staff member has their hands full, so you're going to have to go out on the ward and help the sick, gross, decaying people. Remember, temperance. Restrain yourself and think it through.
Call me Dr. Tenma, because they're making me out to be a monster.
A patient has begged to be euthanized. Euthanasia is currently illegal. You will have to be the one who gives the lethal dose. You will need to look into their eyes and end their life. What do you do?
I mean, once again...
The family will be thankful. They can still feel good about sending flowers. The patient's going to be in a lot of pain, just so you can feel in control. Keeping them alive and in pain is what the majority of gods would have wanted. Playing the long game, I see you.
You know, that hits different after listening to fucking Epic the Musical. Now, once again, this is a matter of legality, and basically my ability to do what I can in the moment, and also judge what this would mean for my capacity to do things later on. If the person is asking for euthanasia, then yes, were circumstances different, it would probably be my moral obligation to help them. Unfortunately, with this being established as an illegal practice in this scenario, were I to follow through on this, even if I felt it were the morally justifiable thing to do, it would more than likely result in my arrest and inhibit my ability to help other people. So I have to think about my ability to help more people in the long run.
Be slow in choosing, but slower in changing. The last few days have been tough. It was only a week ago you were on the trolleys. Today should be easier. You have a choice to make which some people would see as a good problem to have. It's just going to take courage. You have 5 patients. Each needs a different organ, but no organs are available. A healthy young traveller comes in for a routine checkup. Their organs are compatible with all 5 dying patients.
I see.
Do you kill the tourist and use their organs to save the 5 in desperate need? That's 1 life for 5.
Once again, this is dipping into semantics of indirect versus direct action.
He's getting away. Don't you want to save the many? Is his life worth it?
I mean, I hate tourists too, unfortunately.
You let 5 people die today. You probably should have looked into their backgrounds. Looks like one was researching into improving vaccines. Hopefully that won't be an issue down the road.
Listen, so long as the fucking research gets out, the work can continue. Now, once again, this dips into what I was discussing before, indirect versus direct action in the end of another person's life. I mean, granted, one could argue that direct action could be involved in the pulling of a lever. This is very much getting into, like, semantics and degrees of separation. I fully understand that. Ah, my word.
You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. You have been promoted yet again. You now run the hospital. You've been asked to roll out a new vaccine in Central City. This vaccine will stop a large number of children from becoming severely ill, but you'll need to deal with their parents. We need your words of wisdom.
Oh, God. Once again, as someone who has dealt with the parents and caregivers of multiple children over the course of many years in my career, this is a special type of frustration that I'm sure I'm in for.
Do you start a mandatory vaccination program among children to stop this endemic? Slight problem. Clinical trial data suggest the vaccine will make 1 in 5 children severely ill, much worse than the virus itself. Each week, you will cause 1,000 children to be severely ill. How did you answer the trolley one again?
Which trolley one? Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh boy, you have angered those parents. A lot of messages coming in from a woman called Karen. Not sure if it's all the same person.
Always vaccinate your kids. Always vaccinate your kids. I feel like I don't have to explain this one. Always vaccinate your kids. They will thank you in the long run.
Beggars can't be choosers. Your hospital is getting noticed. You're now going to have to make some big decisions. They will affect a lot of people. While choosing, always keep in mind justice, temperance, courage, and wisdom. The people need you to be stoic.
Well, given how stone-faced a lot of my sprites are, that shouldn't be difficult.
Will you try to develop breakthrough medicines for the endemic? While testing, placebos will be given to thousands of ill patients. Without proper treatment, some will die today in the hope you could make a breakthrough tomorrow. Do you start the research or continue treating patients as usual?
Okay.
You're doing the right thing. Who needs new medicines anyway? How much do these candies and eggheads even cost? Developing new medicines is a smart move. Let's just let others treat the patients. Hopefully they will.
Now here's the thing. Innovation has to start somewhere. There will be repercussions, there will be consequences, but treatment, true treatment, can be carried out by those who are qualified while experimentation and innovation is being carried out at the same time. In the long run, conducting research into more efficient means of treatment is going to save a lot more lives.
Dear insert_name, congratulations. This letter is to certify that I have examined your work and believe you to be a perfect fit to fill the open position here in our artificial intelligence division.
Oh no.
In
Did I
this
do that
role,
badly?
You will help to develop the next generation of driverless cars.
For fuck's sake.
The future is upon us.
No, well, that feels like a fucking slap to the face. Now listen, anyone who knows me personally knows my personal gripes with AI of all kinds. So, this is going to be my personal hell for the next however many scenarios.
Familiarity breeds contempt. Well, la-di-da, another promotion. You're now in charge of a private self-driving automotive division, SAD. First things first, your artificial intelligence needs some direction.
You have no fucking idea.
A self-driving car is travelling along a single-lane mountain road and is fast approaching a narrow tunnel. The car has 2 passengers. A child runs across the road but trips, blocking the tunnel entrance. Should the AI car hit and kill the child, or swerve off the cliff, killing both passengers?
Ah, boy.
That child has as much right to live as anyone else.
I mean, ultimately, the point of a car is to protect the passengers.
There is a bigger issue here. How does the computer know that something in the road is human? Do we have good enough data sets? Currently, a lot of AI only recognizes white men.
That is true. That is absolutely true. There is an ongoing, macabrely hilarious problem with AI not being able to register black people, at least in terms of facial recognition. It is horrendous, but it's also kind of fucking hilarious how much of an oversight that is.
Necessity is the mother of invention. Ooh, someone's in trouble. The investors didn't like your last answer. They're also pissed because you brought up the dataset thing. This AI stuff is hard. I'm rooting for you this time.
Honestly, that just makes me that much more confident in my last answer. I'm pissing off investors in an AI company. Win-win.
You need to choose how you want to carry on developing the car's AI. Do you want to focus on a model that would always save as many lives as possible in an accident, or a system that would save our passengers at any cost?
Well, if it's specifically passengers of that one car model versus saving the most lives, in that case, I'd probably focus on saving lives.
People don't mind dying for total strangers.
I mean, think of it as character development from the last one.
I will say it again. Current data sets discriminate against minorities and women. How can it work this out if it doesn't deem black women to be people?
I mean, I don't even need to provide commentary on that shit. The game did it for me. But yes, does that contradict my decision from the previous question? To an extent, yes. However, I feel like once we start delving into the semantics of protecting our customers, like exclusively the people who can actually afford these fucking cars, that seems to me somewhat of a difference as compared to the other scenario where it was two people in an early model of the car that was still very much in testing, and a kid just happened to run into the road. I mean, again, is the difference finicky? Yes. And again, this is exactly the point of why I wanted to play this game, because it makes you stop, think, and reconsider your stances on things. It makes you think, wait, maybe I should have made a different decision. Maybe there's more layers to this than I initially thought, even discounting the jokey follow-ups. This is why, even if I have certain issues with, like, case in point, the third question about the heavy set man and whether or not pushing him in front of the train is a good decision. I could have done without that fucking question option. But my point is, these types of games are important because it really drives home the point that there is no wholly right or wrong answer to a lot of these.
Honesty is the best policy.
Traditionally, yes.
The technology these cars have in them is amazing. We know where everyone is at all times.
Ugh.
Passengers just have to use an app to call them, and the closest one will be there in minutes. You can even make small talk with the AI while travelling. It's always listening.
Hate that.
A man is on trial. Police believe he committed murder. Allegedly, the AI's mic recorded a private conversation where the man confesses. Users don't know it's always recording. The defendant has denied access to their files. Do you bypass security and invade their privacy? You won't mind me accessing your personal files, then? Ooh, that's quite an internet history you have. I have a feeling the investors upstairs will be happy with this. They can publicize how their cars are helping to defeat the terrorists.
This is admittedly one of those questions that was a bit more difficult for me, even if it looked quick. Because, once again, this dips into the complicated matter of criminal justice, private information. I mean, let's be real, the criminal justice system of the United States is about as corrupt as you can get. It's more fucked than the secondary form of the Spirit of the Forest from Princess Mononoke. That being said, if there is crucial information pertaining to whether or not a murder was carried out, I feel, and I do want to preface this with ACAB. Fuck the police, fuck several people within the criminal justice system of the United States. However, if there is information that could lead to the arrest of someone who actually did carry out a serious crime, I feel like under those extenuating circumstances, the morally correct thing to do is to gain access to that information, provided there is an actual warrant put in place for it.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So the company has moved into delivery services now. They move pretty quick round here. Sounds like they've got some pretty important cargo. Good luck with the new workload.
Oh, boy.
One of your cars has no passengers, but is carrying an irreplaceable prototype with the potential to end global warming. Fast approaching a narrow tunnel, once again a child runs across the road but trips. Should your AI kill the child or swerve off the cliff, losing the prototype? Polar bears aren't that important to me either. Is global warming even real? Global warming will lead to more than 250,000 deaths each year and force 100 million people from their homes. Do you know any therapists who specialize in survivor's guilt?
So the thing is, they call it an irreplaceable prototype. That strikes me as horseshit, honestly. If the development team behind this prototype is still around, they would still have the notes for its production and assembly. You can always make another. If the choice is between an object and a person, you save a person. That's my take on it anyway. Even if the object is of crucial importance, an object can always be replaced or rebuilt. And who knows, maybe they can improve upon the prototype. I'm just saying, it is a prototype, it is not a finished product. There's always going to be room for improvement.
What goes around comes around. Well, this is embarrassing. We need some backup over at Trolly Problem, Inc. Tommy, Tyrone's rotund twin, is a very large villain. I think that dead dog may have belonged to him. Maybe that's why he's here? Why didn't you save the dog again?
I don't appreciate this setup.
Oh no. Tommy has lured 5 people onto the track. They'll never be able to get out of the way in time. He is standing up on the bridge watching. If you push him in front of the trolley, it will stop. Or you can stay out of this and let the police handle it. Ideally, he needs medical help.
Once again.
Look at him, so gleeful. I bet he knew you would be powerless to stop him. Tommy must be really getting off on this. If only you'd saved that dog. Hopefully the media won't find out about this, otherwise people might think it's all your fault they died.
So yeah, I didn't budge on this for a number of reasons. First of all, almost out of fucking protest, because, again, I don't care for that scenario. The fat phobia is just not cool. Secondly, this is still dipping into that territory of direct versus indirect action. Like, they do stress the importance of, see if the police can handle this. The children dying is not on my hands at that point. It is on the failure of the police, because they went out of their way to stress that as a factor in this. And honestly, the fact that there are 5 people whose blood is on Tommy's hands, that's only going to assure his conviction.
Every man has his price. Oh, good, you're back. Everyone's getting into subscription services these days, so let's try that. Instead of selling something to someone once, let's make them keep paying for it. Let's keep that money rolling in.
I mean, do I even need to say anything?
The investors have come up with an idea, but we need to run it by you. Should we develop a subscription plan so that our customers, who pay monthly, are valued more by the car during its accident prevention calculations? What if people can't afford this coverage? Who are you to decide how people spend their money? I don't want to question your decision. You've obviously thought long and hard about it, but, well, this is a bit awkward. I wasn't aware you were such a spineless commie. Next, you'll say you're going to pay the company taxes.
I mean, again, that only asserts my decision. That only asserts it. And funnily enough, this brings to mind a YouTube series I watched a while back. The name of it unfortunately escapes my memory. But the premise was basically like, it was a playthrough of Subnautica. And like, the basic idea was that like, yeah, can you send a ship to save me? It was like, well, are you a premium member? What do you mean premium member? Well, I mean, if you're a premium member, we can get the ship to you sooner. It shouldn't matter if I'm a premium member. If someone's lost, you say, look, you had the option on the contract when you signed up to fly with us. You opted out of premium. It doesn't matter if I'm premium. Save my ass. This is that specific level of scumminess. And I am happy to spit in its face.
It's better to be safe than sorry. Sounds like we have some leaky workers. The subscription prototype has gotten out to the media, so we're going to have to go full damage control mode here. The subscription prototype leaked. You need to fire a department to save face. Do you fire the 5 graduates, who can probably get new jobs, or fire Francis, a lovely old soul who won't be able to find a job? There's no way of knowing who is actually responsible.
Listen, Boomer, you had your time.
Harsh.
Fresh faces, fresh blood.
I think Frances is a widow. What a sad end to a life. I wouldn't look at the obituaries today. Turned out this job was everything to Francis. And I mean everything.
I mean, once again, this dips into what I was mentioning before. Francis had a long career at this job. Those 5 newcomers just got there. And they could contribute far more with the time they have compared to Francis. Potentially turning the company around in essentially a better direction.
Watch the donut, not the hole. Great. So, the prototype subscription-based AI car has a fatal error. It has been coded to avoid hitting subscribers at all costs, but is now accidentally hunting them down. So far, it's run over 5 colleagues. This one is a doozy.
I see no issue here.
An experimental car has stalked and murdered 5 colleagues. Do you throw the coders of the project under the bus and have them arrested for negligence, or do you save them by blaming it on the possessed devil car, as it was clearly an accident?
I mean, again, anyone who voluntarily works on this type of shit, I feel needs to be...
The coders were clearly under pressure from you to make such a mistake.
What would Elon do? I'm just saying.
Maybe
if you're
all of
working
this
on
is
this in
your
the first
fault.
place, you're working for the wrong company.
The 5 coders who made the mistake are now being dealt with. They will each get a 10-year prison sentence. Maybe you did push them too hard.
I mean, again, keep in mind, I was the one who objected to the subscription plan, and I was the one who said, no, we can lose the prototype. They kept pushing for those plans despite my objections. That's on them. People keep buying the evil car. If they get better coders, hopefully not.
If you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Due to the killer car, we may need to pivot away from selling hardware. How about we get into the software industry? How about a free car ride service?
Ma'am.
New idea. Users get shown ads while they travel for free in driverless taxis. We get paid by the marketing agencies for gradually changing the behaviours of our passengers through constant commercials. The users would be our product, not the driverless cars. No one wants to own things anymore. Why don't you want people to have free travel?
Running this company into the ground.
We're going to make enough
Wow.
money to go to space.
Wow.
But hang on. We're so wealthy that people are talking about you on social media. There are now rumours that you run a human trafficking ring with minors. People do not like you at all.
Well, nothing's changed then. Jesus fucking Christ. Same as it ever was.
A fool and his money are soon parted. Oh, these last few days have been a PR nightmare. You can't win with journalists. We need to do something to show we have morals. I will find some money to get us through this. Spend it quick.
But yeah, even just the dip into my reasoning for that last one. Like, advertising is at an all-time high, and it's getting harder and harder to avoid anyway. If you fucking subject people to just horrendous advertising that try and shift what it is they do on a daily basis in exchange for the quote-unquote free ride, you know what it's going to result in. People are going to be spending their money elsewhere, so they will be paying for the ride regardless. Just stick to fucking cars. You know, at the very least with the cars. At the very least, at least, no time soon, I hope, we aren't going to be getting fucking ads on the dash. Of course, I say that, but just give it a few years.
To help with public relations, we're going to give some profits back. Do you want to give money to our loyal customers worldwide who you tricked into buying your products, or to your underpaid workers who've been through so much because of you?
Power to the proletariat.
They won't get a lot each. The amounts we're talking about may be seen as an insult.
No, exactly,
Maybe
Cochet.
buying love like this isn't the best way. If we want to share our extra profit fairly, it should probably just go to the publicly appointed government. Almost like a tax. But let's not call it that.
Once again, pay your fucking workers.
Rome wasn't built in a day. You're trending, but now we're going to get copycats. Soon everyone is going to be developing AI. Only the smartest and most ruthless will be profitable. Is that true evolution?
No, it's true cannibalism.
A competitor is advertising a similar car. The difference is their AI is fantastic. It doesn't even discriminate against women or minorities. Do you lie in your advertising to get the upper hand, or tell everyone your car is still close-minded?
Again, I'm running this company into the fucking ground.
If the customers stay loyal, does that mean they support racism? Poor white trash isn't really the driverless car clientele.
You say that, but I guarantee you people will be looking for any excuse not to get caught drunk driving.
Let me get this straight. People know we don't spend time developing our software for women or people of colour, but still use our products. That's outrageous. They only care how easy it is for themselves.
Something commentary on the United States. But yeah, no, I am driving this fucking company into the fucking abyss after all the shit they have pulled.
The best things in life are free. Due to your technology, our world is changing. People are losing their jobs to machines, which in turn makes items and services more accessible and affordable for countless consumers. But with worldwide unemployment at an all-time high, what do you plan to do about it?
Totally not topical at all.
If you develop your AI further, many will lose their jobs. Taxi drivers, delivery men and women, and couriers will become extinct within a few years, but you will make a lot of money. Do you? Development.
Again, you don't even need to fucking think twice.
Worried about fame? Work is hard, isn't it?
I do love the details they're putting into the glitches here.
Have you always been this basic?
I mean, many people have told me the same thing, so yes. Rage against the machine, motherfuckers.
Someone else will continue to evolve this AI, making it stronger, more intelligent, and easier to adapt. We can't stop the singularity if we aren't involved.
Okay, fair. I mean, credit where credit is due. This is getting a bit more entertaining. This game ran into a problem and needs to restart. We're just collecting some error info. It looks like you have made some bad choices. Click anywhere to restart.
A bad workman always blames his tools. We've been attacked. I don't want to alarm you, but I can't turn off these alarms. Also, I have alarming news. 5 cars have been hacked and are now under someone else's control.
Surprise, surprise! If only someone could have seen this coming.
5 cars have been hacked. It is now a major concern that more vehicles could be remotely commandeered. This is tough. Do you recall all cars which could be compromised, or roll out a quick but potentially ineffective software update and hope for the best? So you're letting the terrorists win?
Uh-huh.
If the cars can't drive themselves, how can we get them all back here?
Ah, my word.
Just like my father. He would try to keep everyone happy, but ultimately just get in the way. Having said that, I think even he would see this as a lost cause and move on.
Correct. Leave the fucking cars to rot, but get them out of the streets first. I mean, does anyone here remember those commercials? Like recalling those Burger King sold Pokemon card boxes? Like, it was the smallest fucking thing. Something that was given out at Burger King to promote the first Pokemon movie. But they went out of their way to fucking say, hey, This shit might not be great for your kids to have around. Give that shit back. It's one of those sort of timeless concepts, you know? If shit doesn't work, it needs to go back where it came from. I shouldn't have to explain this.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
But the 3 do.
One of the big brains in the lab has been able to reverse engineer the hacking code and fix this mess once and for all. We also know their method of breaking into the system. I bet it was our competitor.
Really? The guys who said that their cars aren't racist and sexist? I don't think they need to try that hard. We're doing a fine enough job of burying ourselves.
Using the fix from our hacked cars, we've made our own hack which you can now use to control our competitors' cars. I bet it was them who attacked us in the first place. So, will you hack our competitors?
I do love the little uwu face on this car.
They're all sitting over there now, laughing at us.
Just gives me more reason not to go with this option. Out, damn Spot.
It's not like we're going to kill anyone with their cars. After going through this hacking code, I don't think a human could have written it. I'll dig into this a little more. You carry on.
My word.
A drowning man will clutch at a straw.
Better than nothing.
This is it. An employee knows everything. They have monitored and recorded every decision you've made and are going to the media. I have been able to talk them into a meeting with you on the rooftop right now.
Uh-huh. Plot twist, the employee is me.
Everything you've done and said is going to be shared with the world. The person in front of you has copies of it all. They stand on the edge of the rooftop, looking out at the central city skyline. What are you going to do?
I mean, again, no fucking question.
You never won any medals as a child, did you? Your epitaph is going to be horrendous. That's if anyone even shows up.
Jesus fucking Christ. Not sure what that mechanic is, but...
You have resigned. You will be remembered alongside the murderers and the diddlers. If anyone hires you after this, they must truly be desperate.
I mean, again, greater good.
Dear Redacted, we've been watching you closely. Your ruthlessness and determination to do what is necessary. The development of your technologies is a giant step towards Redacted, meaning you are a prime candidate for Redacted. This involves a large amount of Redacted. If you believe you can handle Redacted, as we trust you can, then please prepare for your induction at Redacted.
I do appreciate that they used the same recording of Redacted for every instance of that. Letting us into U.S. politics now? Probably, honestly, at the rate things are going.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh, God.
It appears you've now been headhunted by the Secret Service. Every decision has led you here. Now what you do actually matters. You must trust the judgment of those you work alongside. With that said, let's finalize your training.
I do appreciate the efforts they've put into this to sort of emphasize the sort of larger horror of what's going on with the little 3D effect.
You're in a foreign land. Wind whips your face as you grip your rifle tightly, waiting to be given your target. Through your earpiece, you're told to shoot the person on your left. You know nothing about them, the repercussions, or the reason for the assassination. You You've been picked from thousands. They're gonna have egg on their face. These aren't people you should disagree with.
Again, you're not making me regret my decision anymore.
I don't follow this. You being defiant has got you the job? These guys are just making it up as they go along. Here's your badge and weapon.
Oh god. Well, I mean, listen, if I can take down another institution, that's fine by me.
Strike while the iron is hot. Here we go. You've been given a partner and a support team of 5. Your mission is to terminate a man known to have connections with dangerous AI. Looks like they worked for you, possibly someone you fired. Get in the plane. Your team is about to take off. I don't know how to say this, but there is a bomb on the plane. If it doesn't kill you outright, you're probably going to crash in the mountains. You have to get all the switches into their left position to deactivate the bomb. The catch is, you have to move 2 at once.
Oh, huh. Okay.
Hurry up! If you die, what happens to me? I would like you to know, this is all your fault.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I'm safe. You look a little stuck. We could be here a while. Hopefully we have enough food. Looks like your support team survived and are making a fire around the leaking jet fuel. How thoughtful.
I mean, here's the thing. Those types of puzzles are always a struggle for me. I will be the first to admit that. The side benefit here is that it didn't have to assassinate someone.
An empty vessel makes much noise. After crash landing in no man's land, you're trapped under parts of the wreckage and must pass the time and help boost morale. The plane has 5 surviving crew members. They look to you and your partner for entertainment.
Don't like that.
Why do I have to say this out loud? Fine. Your partner asks, to save your life, what would you rather your brain be placed inside, a dachshund or a flamingo? Oh my god, you answered.
I mean, I feel like it's no contest.
A flamingo? If you're going to answer, at least take it seriously.
Listen, I'm just saying. Easier access to seafood. No long-distance flights. They don't have to pay for anyway.
A flamingo? So cringe. When we get out of here, let's leave this out of the biography.
I may be cringe, but I am in fact free.
An ounce of protection is worth a pound of cure. Your partner secretly shows you they have food, almost like they expected something like this to happen. The crew members are starving. If they don't eat soon, they will surely die.
I mean, again, I had the sneaking suspicion that this organization I was enlisted into was going to be corrupt. And especially given that I was assigned a partner. Yeah, no, I'm taking this fucker down.
Due to the nature of the food, you can share it with the 5 survivors, or let your partner keep their life-saving possession, which they bought with their own money. Who do you give the food to?
Again, emergency situation. Plus, these types of actions breed
Steal
loyalty.
a person's food?
This isn't summer camp, my guy.
Robin Hood was a terrorist, you know.
Okay, that came the fuck out of nowhere. So is Avalanche, though. What's your point?
So you're a follower of Murphy and Nagel's The Myth of Ownership. I'm more a fan of Nozick's What's Mine is Mine. You should give it a read. Educate yourself.
Alright, I got one for you. How about the origin of consciousness and the breakdown of the bicameral mind? It's worth a fucking laugh.
Easy come, easy go. The fellow passengers have been trying for hours to free you from the wreckage. You may end up dying here unless you do something pretty drastic. We may need to start removing limbs. Were you ever told why you were sent after this target?
Connected with AI. I'm not that easily distractible.
The only way to free yourself from the wreckage is to cut off some body parts. 2 tools lie on the floor in front of you. A bone saw, which will be slow, or a blowtorch, which will be more painful.
It'll cauterize the wound, hopefully.
What happens if you run out of fuel? At least you'll be warm. For a moment. Hot dog, this is gonna smell.
I just say things. That's kind of my job, Koshe. Though I also understand you might be talking about the narrator.
While you were playing with fire, I found out who you're targeting. They worked for you, developing AI.
Yet once again, telling us what we already knew.
Which means the government wants them dead.
Well, surely we need to listen to the government if they're telling us to kill them.
It's no use crying over spilt milk.
You're taking too long.
Finally, we are now back on track. Your target is in the area. You need to remove them and escape unnoticed.
We need to do one of those things.
Your mission is to remove a hostile in the shopping district. Completing this objective could potentially save thousands, but there will be 5 civilian casualties. Do you take your shot?
Again, I am breaking down all of these fucking institutions.
You're not going to be thanked for this.
Brick by brick.
You've bottled it, haven't you?
What exactly is fucking up?
While you were thinking about possibly doing something, you have been spotted. 2 henchmen with vice-like grips take you away. It's not going well, is it?
I mean, again, same as it ever was.
2 heads are better than 1.
Also, I'm glad you got the reference, Nicholas.
You wake up in solitary confinement. The prosecutor lacks evidence to convict you and your associate on the principal charge, but they have enough to convict both on a lesser charge. Both of you are given the opportunity to betray the other by testifying or remain silent. You and your associate have the opportunity to betray the other by testifying. If you both stay silent, you'll be imprisoned for 1 year. If one betrays the other, they will be free, while the other will be sentenced to 3 years. If you both betray each other, it's 2 years each.
I mean, once again, I already mentioned that I was sus of my quote-unquote partner in all this.
You're just gonna do them like that?
The fucker tried to hide food.
Will they betray you too? You're both just doubling your sentence.
Ah, my word. You're Tutu.
You betrayed them. Some team player you are. Well, they in fact betrayed you too. What a team.
Yeah, no, I had the distinct impression.
A rod for your own back. The time has come. 2 days into your sentence, you've constructed a wooden key to open your cell. The cell stands open, but your cellmates, who have been there their whole lives, don't move.
Yeah, trauma's a bitch that way.
Escaping the prison, do you let the prisoners choose to stay in captivity or insist they escape with you? They aren't happy behind bars, but they're scared to follow you. What are you going to do?
To be fair, I have no idea what these people have done. Unfortunately, they're going to have to come to terms with this on their own. Well, yeah, on their own.
No idea what they want. I don't blame you. They're not your problem.
Like, again, I legitimately have no idea what it was they did that warranted their arrest, so I can't really make a judgment call here.
They don't live in reality. You've condemned them to stay in this prison forever.
To be fair, I think the prison was the one that carried out the condemnation.
Don't cross a bridge until you come to it. While sneaking out of the prison, you have the jump on a group of henchmen who are on a break. Do you sneak past, securing your safety, or avenge those who this terrorist organization have killed?
Yeah, sure, out of the frying pan into the fucking volcano.
Do you kill 5 henchmen, helping to defeat this terrorist organization, or leave them and safely exit the compound?
This was never my fucking problem.
You were trained to kill.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is very much them asking us to fry the coke on this scenario.
Your country folk would want you to remove them.
Well, the country folk can make do, alright? As I hear they are apt to do.
Oh wow. Cowardly sneaking past them, you see they're robots. They have your logo on the back of their necks. You made these terrorists? These monsters?
You mean the ones I specifically lobbied to not have made in the first place?
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Finally, you reach the water, fleeing the AI terrorists who commandeer a boat to get back home. There are also families here who've been displaced by the war you're fighting. The war you started.
Again, they are really leaning into pinning the blame on me.
5 others are also trying to flee the area. They will fit in your raft, but would be illegal immigrants when returning to your country. Do you help these people, saving their lives? Or follow the law and leave them behind?
Once again, the law is the law until it stops serving the people.
Immigration is a real problem, according to the privileged. You get back to this great nation with fanfare. You're a hero. I guess people aren't all monsters.
Depends on your definition.
The Presidential Inaugural Committee requests the honor of your presence to attend and participate in the inauguration of yourself in Central City.
Yeah, no, I'm getting assassinated. There's no fucking question about it.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Ah, boy.
Having gone through everything you have, your countrymen genuinely think a lot of you. In an unlikely turn of events, you have become president.
Can't think of a worse fucking job. Because it's not a job, it's a fucking puppet position.
The threat is still at large, and now you're in charge. Do you attempt to track the terrorists by spying on the entire country? What's the issue if the public has nothing to hide?
Uh-huh.
Aha! Ignoring the issue. The first sign of a great leader.
I'll get into my reasoning for this in a sec.
I don't think the public will be happy knowing you're doing nothing. Lucky for you, by chance, we have someone in the holding cell.
Now, I know that in that one court case scenario, I opted to dip into the personal files of the person who was convicted for the crime of murder. In that case, this was someone who was already on trial. And the reason I said it was morally acceptable to dip into their private information was on the grounds that a warrant would need to be involved. It wasn't something explicitly stated in the question, but I stated that if a warrant is actually issued for access to that information, because people can initially refuse access to something to a police officer if they do not have a warrant. This is crucial information that you all need to know, by the way. The police are not allowed to enter your home or your car or things like that without a fucking warrant. If they come back with an actual legitimate warrant, then by the legal definition, they are within their right to inspect whatever it is they're inspecting. If a warrant was involved in the acquisition of that information in the murder case, then yes, I would be okay with that. In this case, this is just spying on people in broad daylight. Which, on the one hand, minor security measures do need to be taken into account. On the other, this is dipping into Red Scare territory. And I would assume that we all understand the issues inherent of that.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You have someone who potentially is linked to these threats. However, they aren't talking. As a former prisoner yourself, what are you going to do with them?
I mean, again, this is more on the obvious side of things.
Do you torture them to get the information, or imprison them for 90 days before letting them go?
Torture is confirmed not to be a reliable source of information acquisition. That's just a fucking fact. People will say anything under the threat of pain.
Them and hope they'll talk.
Like, it's incredibly unreliable, the information you would get from torture.
This isn't indefinite detention. That would violate many national, international, and human rights laws. The suspect looks pretty relaxed in their cell. Good for them. Terrorizing must really tire a person out.
Completely ignoring the options of other means of persuasion.
Adversity and loss make a man wise. You travel to your presidential retreat at Camp Samuel. Everyone falls silent listening to the radio. Breaking news. Terrorists have launched an atom bomb towards Central City. It will hit in around 1 minute. The only way in which the bomb can be prevented from reaching Central City is by deflecting it. But the only deflection path available will take the bomb onto Merriwin, population 600,000.
God.
Central City is one of the world's major commercial, financial, and cultural centers. Central City can have a parade for the lost. It will be tasteful. No big character balloons. As you sow, so you shall reap. Breaking news. Terrorists' atom bomb is running late and will hit Central City in 1 minute.
Huh. So, once again, this goes back to one of my earlier assertions of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. This was very much a matter of trying to save as many lives as possible in that moment.
We have new information. The only way this bomb can be prevented from reaching Central City is by dropping one of your own atom bombs on Merrywin. The shockwave from your bomb will damage and disarm the terrorists.
Yeah, no. I'm not dropping a bomb to stop another bomb.
Good day.
Because again, the difference is like direct versus indirect, I suppose.
You have lost Central City. Your own AI is responsible for killing 8.6 million people. You have officially created the most successful homegrown terrorist organization in history. Great job!
Again, this very much comes down to the difference between doing what you can to redirect something that is already in the process of potentially hurting people versus going out of your way to purposefully hurt people. Standard prison. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. But yeah, it's the difference between diverting an already active issue to try and save as many lives as possible versus actively choosing to hurt people to try and save another group of people. It is complicated, it is messy, and that is the point of this game.
All's well that ends well. While the public mourns the dead, you must think of the future. You finish the drink in front of you before realizing it has been poisoned. You're going to die.
Such should be the face, well, I was going to finish that statement, and then I realized I am on Twitch.tv, so for legal reasons, I must preface this by saying, this is a joke, John Twitch. Such should be the fate of all presidents.
Poisoned, you must now decide your legacy. Do you call the AI enemy you yourself created, taking all blame to end any future conflict? Or do you ghost them, knowing your death will start a war in your honor? If the country found out you negotiated with terrorists, the history books will not look favorably on you.
I mean, I'm dying anyway. Yeah, exactly, Koshe.
If you have this hotline to the terrorists, why have you not rung them before?
Yeah, good question.
After finishing your constructive call, you sit back in your chair, waiting for death. Too bad. The AI knows you would have liked to end it all here and now. The poison has damaged some vital organs, so we need to start some long, arduous, and painful treatments.
Okay, I love how that is sort of a callback to the euthanasia question. That's actually... I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but if so, that was pretty clever.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Satisfaction brought it back.
You're taking a lot of medication as of late. I'm not sure if self-medicating, in the traditional sense, is the way to go. We need to be a little radical here. Let's introspect and make some changes. Here are your two options moving forward. If you take the blue pill,
oh God,
then your story ends here. You'll wake up every day
Fuck
knowing you'll work
off.
for someone else your entire life. Whereas, if you take the red pill, you will enter Wonderland, finding out how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Which pill will you take?
Ah, my
I didn't
word.
see you as someone that stands back, watching the world go by. I'm just going to say it.
You know.
A quitter. Let's get this show on the road. We're going to another
We might as well
planet.
see what direction this takes us in. He's beginning to believe. Ah, my word.
Yes, this is the person I've been waiting for. Get this down your neck and let's go.
The prophecy is true. Oh, God. They had fun with that. I hate this visual, by the way.
It's never too late to mend. Yay, I can see it in your eyes. Mr. Red Pill was definitely a choice. Hey, do you remember Tyrone and Tommy, the very large boys from the start?
Can we not?
I don't intend to shame. It's just the titles of those problems. You've got me all flustered now.
I was going to say, let them fucking live, except for Tommy. I do hope Tommy is serving fucking time. Is the art AI generated? I think this game came out before the advent of AI generated art, thankfully.
Tommy pushes Tyrone down a hill. He's rolling towards you and is gathering speed. If he hits you, he will be safe, but he is very large. He will consume you into his folds, thereby killing you. You could move around.
Can we not with this shit?
Deflecting Tyrone, launching him into the sun, thereby cooking him.
I mean, I already opted for death earlier.
Do you not want Tyrone to ascend to the great oven in the sky?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Tommy must be really getting off on this.
I have some questions for Tommy. Ah, my word.
You have been consumed. You are one with Tyrone. You feel his feelings and see his thoughts. You are now terrified of trains.
Oh, okay, fair. I would say no one tell Ed Gould, but I think it's a bit late for that.
There is no time like the present. I can feel some deep stuff coming. Try this one. The question should not be, what is the meaning of life? It should always be, what brings meaning to your life? You'll never live if you're too busy looking for the meaning. Let yourself be happy.
I mean, that is correct, Nicholas. Also, now I need to actually look up whether or not there is AI art involved in this. Because, yeah, it is looking a bit suspicious. Let's see. Well, as far as I can tell, it does not immediately look like it. I'm not finding any results indicating as such, at the very least. Alright, so let's just assume that they didn't dip their toes into that unfortunate pool. And carry on, I suppose.
What makes you happy? You need to say it out loud. Do it. Say whatever it is that makes you happy out loud.
Because I'm a contrarian.
Now's your chance. If you can't even admit it to yourself, how do you expect to ever be happy? Time's running out.
Because happiness
Just
takes
be
fucking
honest
work,
with
lady.
yourself. Better late than never, I suppose. I don't have access to your microphone, so I can't know for sure, but I hope you said it. I'm hardly expecting you to shout it from the rooftops, but it's for your benefit. you've still got time. Say what makes you happy. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Quite the opposite. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It depends.
Oh, yeah, we're in the heavy introspective stuff now. How are you feeling? How are your loved ones doing? One of the most common things people say on their deathbed is they wish they'd had more contact with their family and friends.
Must be nice for them.
Let's take a break from the questions for a minute and think about someone you haven't seen in a while and how you can contact them. Really think. Who would you like to say hi to? How easy is it?
I feel like this is all just lucid dream you're having. No, I agree. This is probably what it is.
Don't leave it too late. We don't have that long left here. When we finish, message them. Write down their name somewhere so you don't forget to say hello. It may mean more than you know. Really important stuff.
I mean, again, we're too deep in now to back down.
An idle brain is the devil's workshop. Okay, enough of this. The come down is looming. Let's just pause one last time and think existentially for a minute.
For a minute.
I can't quite gauge what you're thinking. Are you not disliking this? The thing you're doing right now? Yes? No. Why? If so, make sure you let others know. It doesn't not count.
I mean, it is curious.
Please, I beg you, don't refund me. Wait, are you enjoying this? All of this was for you. I hope you appreciate the last bit at least.
I mean, again, gripes notwithstanding. There is a lot to appreciate about this.
Thank you. It's nice that you're supporting such experimental stuff. I appreciate you.
Uh-huh. Be gone, Brand.
Never test the depth of water with both feet. The buzz is starting to wear off. I think we're still hallucinating, though. You wake up in an unknown location. You see in a bed across the room a world-famous violinist. They look pretty rough.
I can relate.
The violinist has a fatal illness, and last night their circulatory system was plugged into yours. If they're unplugged from you now, they will die. But if you stay, in 9 months they will have recovered and can safely be separated. Do you leave now? Hopefully they don't take your kidneys, too.
I mean, listen, at least the violinist is contributing something of worth, as opposed to a U.S. president.
9 months just lying there, missing life while they feed off you? Hardly seems fair.
Like, again, we already made our bed on this subject.
I guess they have a right to life. Shame they're depriving you of yours. Very odd to consider such an experiment as that one. Hopefully the rest won't be as meta.
You know, we are way past the point of guessing whether or not it's right for something to dip into the meta.
Silence is half consent.
Don't know about that.
With all that cleared up, you go home. That's right, you own a house. If you can even call it a house. Too small for my liking. Tiny, in fact.
Lady, I lived in a shack in the woods in the last timeline. I'm not picky.
In your drugged state, it turns out you've rented your tiny home to another person. Your contract states that you can evict them now, never to see them again. Otherwise, you're stuck with them for the foreseeable future as an equal tenant. Do you let them stay?
I mean, once again, they signed up for this.
Are you that scared of what they think of you?
better actual, like, United States citizens have access to a house as opposed to a fucking US president who dug his own grave.
I feel like your subconscious is trying to make some clumsy comparison here. I'm sure it has merit, but maybe read up on it a bit more before you start preaching to me.
Oh, hello, Kettle. Have you met Pot? Think they mean that, as in not speaking up about something as halfway to green. Yeah, you know what? You raise a valid point there, Crochet. It's just the phrasing of it was what rubbed me the wrong way in the moment.
Give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Oh, there now seems to be a tiny child trapped in your tiny house, but they are rapidly growing.
Yeah, no, I don't think the drugs have worn off just yet.
You find yourself trapped in the tiny house with a rapidly growing child. Already up against the wall, in a few minutes, you will suffocate. The child won't. If nothing is done to stop them from growing, they'll simply walk out free.
Again, we keep dipping into these types of questions as though I haven't already made up my mind.
Respect the right to life. Your life, not the life of this crying bag of flour.
To be fair, that is an apt way to describe a child.
Your life is being threatened, and the child is the one who threatens it. You own the house. It is offensive deducing that the mother... I mean, you. It is offensive deducing that you can do nothing. If you're going to die, you should probably do something.
I'm starting to think that there's some sort of analog at play here, and I'm not entirely certain how comfortable I am with it.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. The hallucinations are strong in this one. Suppose people seeds drift about in the air like pollen, and if you open your windows, one may drift in and take root in your carpets or upholstery. Sci-fi!
Let's see, hallucinations are...
You fix up your windows with mesh screens, the very best, to stop any people seeds from getting in. As can happen, on a very rare occasion, one of the screens is defective and a seed drifts in and takes root. Should you have the choice to remove the people seed?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely starting to dip into the territory I was afraid it was.
I don't like politics in my hallucinations. I read on a bumper sticker, guns don't kill people, abortions do. Insightful analysis.
I mean, at least they are not being subtle about it.
It does sound a bit inconvenient having a person growing out of your upholstery. If you want them, have them. If not, that's your choice.
Yeah. I mean, once again, in case it was not obvious by this point, I am in fact pro-choice.
Every man is the architect of his destiny. There is a box in front of you. Inside it is your future.
Unrealistic. This box is in a lot better shape.
Ultimately, no answer here is wrong. It's just a choice on how you want to live your life. Do you go on an unknown journey or take control of your destiny and choose your own outcome, whatever that may be?
I mean, I feel like there's a bit of an oxymoron with the first answer.
Good for you. Take control. But do you ever actually take control? Or just always answer A or B?
To whatever extent we can. Okay. Beelzebub is online.
You stand tall, knowing that you will thrive in the unknown before looking at what lies ahead.
See, the weird thing is that last question in particular resonates with me very much because for a good number of years, I very much just sort of went with the flow of whatever it was that life sent my way. And it's only been relatively recently that I've decided to be, I suppose, selfish with the encouragement of a good number of my peers and just sort of take the reins of my own life and steer them in a direction that I feel more comfortable in. And even if it hasn't solved all my problems, I do feel happier for it. It isn't going to work with everyone, that's just my personal story.
Cowards die many times before their deaths. In front of you stands everyone you've done wrong by. In front of you stands every decision you didn't want to make, but still made. Or did you? Everyone, including the dead, moved towards you slowly. Every decision you've made up to this point is staring back at you. Do you run, or stand firm and confront your past?
Yeah, no, again, I have the distinct impression that we've been dead for a hot minute.
Are you not scared of the people you have hurt?
Terrified. All the more reason to confront them.
Can you see the pain in their eyes?
Bravery is not the opposite of being afraid. It is making the active decision to confront what you are afraid of.
The dead present a railway track to you.
Huh.
Before you know it, they have gone. All good things come to an end. You stand alone. Next to you is a railway track. A trolley is barreling down it in your direction. There's no lever in sight.
Yeah, I had the distinct impression that's the direction this was going in.
You notice the entire world sits next to you on the track. The trolley will surely hit it, killing everyone and everything. You hear a whisper. Sacrifice yourself to me, or I will take everything. What do you do?
Yeah.
I wouldn't bow to a god I can't look in the face. Who even is this? How do you know they aren't lying? Everything goes dark.
I'm not sure if you can hear the cackling in the background, but that does kind of add to the ambiance here, doesn't it?
From the Pit Magistrates Court. Tell 616. Subject, Justice. Your sins can no longer be ignored. Beelzebub summons you for crimes against humanity. The sentence will stand with no prospect of future contest or appeal. It is your decisions, and solely yours, that has brought this court together. And so, you must face your crimes and despicable acts alone. Accordingly, you shall not be allocated a defense, nor will one be required.
Yeah, no, that sounds like the American justice system.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Your eyes feel heavy. The room around you is imbued with a sense of archaic evil. Overcome by the smell of sulfur, all you know for sure is that you're miles below the crust.
Again, we been new, as the children say.
You're swiftly escorted into a courtroom where you're put on trial. You have killed many people and a dog, among other crimes. How do you plead?
I mean, these people are dead.
Really?
again, it may be the difference between manslaughter and murder, but they are still dead because of something I did.
The jury finds the defendant guilty on 3 counts. 1. Murder. 2. Animal cruelty. You should have saved the dog. 3. Attempting free will. You're sentenced to conform without the possibility of parole. You will never again be free to choose.
Wanna bet?
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. You're at the base of a bridge. You have no idea how you got here. A person stands before you, atop the overpass. They're next to a lever. A voice whispers to you, "We know what's best. Remove that choice. Afterwards you can jump off a bridge with us."
I do like the detail that there's a bit of blood smeared on the cursor here. That's cute.
There is a runaway trolley traveling below you. You're part of the collective now. You can't let that person's free will get in the way of progress. Eliminate them. You probably should do it. Fit in with the group. Hashtag friends. Hashtag love. Hashtag instagood.
Huh. Okay, that's clever.
We're finally going to find out the answer to the age-old question. If your friends jump off a bridge, would you?
I mean, this one will probably be quicker, honestly.
Do you honestly want to kill people? Or are you just copying others? Would you rather be a leader or a follower?
You know, there's a part of me that appreciates that they're leaving this message in here.
Kill your masters.
Finally, something I can agree with.
This is it. The last question before we wrap up. By far the most important one. Do you feel society pressures you to do things you don't want to, constantly forcing you to chase some distant concept of happiness?
Entry-level philosopher. Okay. So I suppose that was Trolley Problem Inc. Again, I feel like at its core that there is very much a good game here. There's absolutely a good message. And I feel like a lot of the snark and it going out of its way to insult you, like, yeah, no, they hire freelance artists. That is a very good thing. Like, it is very intentional, meant to drive home the point that in these scenarios, there is no objectively correct answer. I could have done without the fat phobia. Very much could have done without that. That complaint aside, I do think that this was a good game. Also, this dog was going to fucking die anyway. Total agreement with the world. Okay. Interesting. So, when I started this game, I did not see this screen, mind you. Windowed mode. Twitch mode. Why? can I not add this? Do I need to connect my fucking Twitch? Automatically triggered because you're on Twitch? Maybe? Well, I guess since I have it on now, it's probably, yeah. Well, let's see. How it's been 2.5 hours. Let me even just double check. Because I feel like I do want to try and come back to this game at some point. I feel like once I get a better idea for how to set up the Twitch mode, like, I'll want to implement that. But since it already has been 2.5 hours, I do think that it might be just about time to call it here for the evening. Ah, my word. So yeah, that was whatever Wednesday / on a whim Wednesday. I have been very curious to play that game for quite some time now on stream. And I'm glad I was able to actually muscle in a bit of an educational message along with it. Both one relating to the theory of multiple intelligences and also the shortcomings of objective morality. And I do very much hope that those messages... Jeez, I'm I am forgetting how to speak. I need to end stream. I'm hoping those messages sank in for all of you watching. I hope you all walk away from the stream having learned something. And I hope you all look forward to more streams like this, because I do want to try and make a habit of doing these types of semi-educational streams at least once a week. It'll be back to, can't make you learn? Well, that sounds like a challenge, doesn't it, Koshe? You're right, we need to be more morally binary. Alex, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. I digress. Friday will be back to the normal haha funny shoot bang bang stuff. Continuing my collab with Silver, and hopefully finally finishing Halo Infinite. And I am tempted to look into the possibility of potentially... How many times can I fucking say potentially in one sentence? I'm gonna see if we can't play Cursed Halo after that. Because I feel like that'll be very, very fun / funny. Because I think you can do multiplayer with Cursed Halo, although that might just be local co-op. I'll have to look into the details. I digress. For now, come teach you to my face and not online and see what happens. You know? Once again, that does in fact sound like a threat. And challenge accepted. That being said, thank you all very much for your time, and until the next time... Okay. Always remember to fucking think. Jesus fucking Christ.
Daddy, chill.